Today, we're diving into a really powerful and, let's be honest, often painful dynamic that so many people live through, but just don't have the words for. Drawing from Lawson's work, this explainer is all about finding a totally new way to handle a tough relationship, learning how to love the waif without having to rescue her.
You know, this line from Cinderella just hits you, right? It perfectly captures that feeling of deep, undeserved hardship. It's the classic story of a waif, someone who seems utterly trapped, and it just pulls on that instinct we all have to jump in, to fix things, to rescue. But what happens when this isn't a fairy tale? What happens when it's your family?
All right, so before we can talk about a solution, we have to get really clear on the problem. And this isn't just about a difficult personality. No, it's a deep, tangled emotional pattern, one that can literally make you feel like you're being pulled underwater.
At the center of this dynamic is an archetype Lawson calls the waif mother. Now, it's so important to hear this. This is not about blame. It's about seeing a pattern. The waif mother truly feels like she's drowning in life. Her world can seem like one crisis after another, and she sends out this powerful unspoken message. Life is too hard for me. I can't do this.
And who hears that message the loudest? The child, of course. They step into the role they were born for, the rescuer. The all-good child who has to be strong, who has to fix everything, who is responsible for their parents' happiness. I mean, can you imagine? That is a massive and frankly impossible weight for any kid to carry, and it doesn't just disappear when they grow up. And this quote, wow, this just says it all. It's from a woman named Michelle, whose story is in the source material. After a lifetime of being that perfect, rescuing child, she hits a wall. And here's the devastating twist. The rescuer suddenly realizes she's the one who's drowning now, pulled under by a job that was never supposed to be hers.
So, you might be thinking, but rescuing is what you're supposed to do. It feels so natural, so right. So why doesn't it work? Well, this is the big turning point, the core insight. We have to get our heads around the fact that rescuing is the trap. It's an unwinnable battle.
Just look at this. It lays it out so clearly. On one side, you've got the rescuer's trap. It just keeps the cycle of helplessness going, and it burns out the child, leading to total exhaustion and resentment. But look at the other side, the path forward. It's about empowering responsibility, creating healthy boundaries, and here's the big one, letting the child actually live their own life.
And here's the kicker. According to Lawson, constantly rescuing, even when it comes from a place of love, ends up hurting everyone. It keeps the parent from ever needing to take charge of their own life, and it keeps the child chained to a role they can never, ever escape. It's a prison for two.
Okay, so if rescuing is a trap, what's the alternative? We can't just stop loving someone, right? Of course not. This is where we get to a really powerful new idea. It's about completely reframing love itself. It's about learning how to care without having to carry everything.
This right here, this is the whole ball game. Loving the wife does not mean abandoning her. It means shifting from taking care of her to caring about her. They sound similar, but they are worlds apart. And the key move? You have to give the responsibility for her life, her happiness, her choices, all of it back to her, where it belongs.
Right? I know what you're thinking. That sounds great in theory, but how on earth do you actually do that? I get it. Luckily, the source material gives us a super clear, actionable, 3-step guide to actually make this happen. Here they are, the 3 pillars of freedom. 1. Confirm separateness. 2. Create structure. 3. Clarify consequences. And just notice the language here. I am. I will. I won't. This whole thing is about taking your power back. Let's break them down.
Step 1 is basically an internal revolution. It's about finally giving yourself permission to be a separate human being, to have feelings and needs that are yours and yours alone, even if they're different from your mother's. It's that huge realization that you are not just an extension of her. A relationship becomes something you choose, not a cage you're stuck in.
So once you start that internal shift, step 2 is about making it real on the outside. Chances are, this relationship has been built on chaos. Structure, in the form of clear, predictable boundaries, is like building a sturdy house in the middle of that storm. It protects your energy, your time, and your sanity. And this is what it actually sounds like. This is the boundary Michelle set. See how it's not mean? It's not a punishment. It's just a simple, honest statement of her own needs and what she will do. I am too tired. I will not answer. It's direct, it's fair, and it's crystal clear.
And finally, step 3. Because a boundary without a consequence is just a suggestion, right? But, and this is key, we're not talking about threats or punishments. We're talking about natural consequences. You know, if you touch a hot stove,
you get burned. Simple. So, if you call after 10, I won't answer. It's not me being mean, it's just what happens. It teaches that actions have results.
Now we have to talk about something really serious, because this dynamic can go to some dark places. Christine Lawson offers some incredibly important guidance on how to handle suicidal gestures. Look at the non-helpful column: pleading, dismissing, getting angry. All of that just yanks you right back into the rescuer role. The helpful responses? They're about taking it seriously without taking it on. You call for professional help. You respond with honest concern. You state your limits. You act, but you do not rescue.
You know, putting all these steps into practice, it's about so much more than just managing a relationship. It's a deep, profound journey back to yourself. It's about finally stopping the frantic treading of water and swimming to your own shore.
See, according to Christine Lawson, kids in this situation often build what's called a false self. It's a whole personality designed to please the parent, to keep the peace, to hide how you really feel. It's like wearing a mask for so long you forget your own face. This journey, then, is about taking off the mask and finding your true self, the real you underneath it all, the one who's allowed to have feelings, to be creative, to just be.
And this brings us to the most heartbreaking and also the most liberating truth of it all. As Christine Lawson puts it so powerfully, the waif's children cannot save her. They must swim to shore alone. Your only real job, your only path to an authentic life, is to save yourself. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. After all the struggling, all the trying to keep your head above water, what does your shore look like? What would a life feel like that is genuinely, authentically, and freely your own? That's a destination worth swimming for.